Hello! What's up, gamers? What's going on? How's it hanging? Welcome back. I'm bored with the early bird. Enjoy your worm. We are gonna model today, but first, I'm gonna finish eating my shift meal. I wanted to hang out with you guys though, so I was like, I'll just finish my lunch on stream. Mukbang. Mukbang. Do people still, are those still popular? Was that more of a like 2018 thing? I know they were really big in that, roughly that time period. Are people still really into those? Plagued Painter! Hello, hello, hello! Welcome in! Why are you a Banui? I'm not a Banui! These are my wings, see? They're all feathery! Yeah! Flap, flap! This is my new model! I made it myself! Do you like it? Say you like it. Say you like it. Yay! Thank you. And good to see you. Welcome to the stream. Welcome, welcome. I'm bored with the hydrate, thank you. I just got off work. Came home, loaded up stream, eating my shift meal now. It's good. I'm having like a breakfast plate. I love breakfast food. I love breakfast food. They were like, yeah, or order whatever you want for your shift meal. And I was like, can I order breakfast at 2:30? And they were like, yeah, sure. So now here I am. At 3 p.m. Eating my scrambled eggs and my hash browns on twitch.tv. I probably could have eaten it first, but like, I wanted to hang out with you guys. I didn't want to wait. The bucket. Mukbang. Mukbang? Mukbang? All these years, I'm still never totally sure. I don't know, I was never really into that kind of thing. Like the ones where they eat like an ungodly amount of food and it's like the eating noises, I was never really into that. If one of my favorite YouTubers just like made a video where they were chatting while eating dinner, yeah, I would watch that. Like, oh my god, the gym bros who would do like, they probably still do this, the like 15,000 calorie cheat day. So they're like, I eat nothing but chicken and brown rice and steamed broccoli with no salt. 29 days a month. And today is my cheat day and I'm gonna eat 15,000 calories. Those videos always kind of scared me. Like, surely it's probably better for you to just space it out a little more, right? it's probably better for you to have like a milkshake a couple times a month than that, right? If I'm getting paid to eat, I'm fucking eating as much as humanly possible. Yeah, fair. Like, I don't want to be uncomfortable though, you know? Like, have you seen Seven? Never mind, that's gross. I'm eating, we shouldn't talk about that. Snorting straight protein powder? Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong. I'd love to get I'd love to get buff, but I'm not gonna stop eating carbs, you know? I'm not gonna cut sugar out of my diet. That's nonsense. It's nonsense and I will not be doing it. Something something human centipede blah 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 tusk. I actually haven't seen those two. I liked Seven though. What's that guy's name? Fincher? David Fincher, I want to say. I've seen a couple movies of his and I've liked them. The Game was really good. I think that one's underrated. Y'all see Iron Lung? Tusk will make you never want to look at a walrus ever again. You know, that's what everyone says. And I was curious, so I Googled it. And it's not as bad as I thought. Like, it's probably worse when you watch the whole movie, but like... it's not as bad as I thought it would be, you know? I'm looking at it right now, and like, it's bad. Don't get me wrong. But it's definitely a little campy and cartoonish, you know? A guy getting kidnapped and brainwashed into thinking he's a walrus isn't bad. Oh no, I just meant like the gore. I just meant like the gore, you know? Like, don't get me wrong, it's freaky, but, you know, it's not... They definitely went for more of a, like... exaggerated visual with, like, the makeup and stuff, you know? Like, it's not as visually horrifying as I expected from the way everyone talks about it, you know? Don't get me wrong, it's very freaky. It's very freaky. And I'm sure it's a very disturbing movie, and I haven't seen it. But, like... the makeup's a little campy. You know? I look at that and I'm like, yeah, that's some fun special effects makeup. Premise is horrifying, though. Premise is horrifying. I got recommended a video on YouTube earlier. I think it was like this morning or something before I went to work. That was called like the horror of your body being reshaped. I might have to watch that later because you know what I have to do? I have to watch it and then if it's good, I have to send it to Sumi Kasumi loves body horror. She loves body horror. And I really like that. I also enjoy some body horror, but Sumi is like a die-hard fan. Makeup? No, no, no. They clearly actually turned a guy into a walrus. Yes, sorry, of course, of course. He was method acting. He's the most intense, committed method actor the world has ever seen. Method acting freaks me out. Like, the people who get really into it. Like, dog, I don't know that it's that serious. I don't know that you need to do that. You know? You can maybe chill out a little bit. You don't need to be mailing your castmates dead squirrels and shit. You don't need to live in a cardboard box for a month or whatever, you know? Like, I understand being committed to your role, but that might be a bit much. You're kind of putting yourself through the ringer, and or other people. Like, you know, if you're Heath Ledger, you know, if it only affects you, if you're Heath Ledger and you want to live in a hotel room completely isolated from people for like a month to play the Joker really well, you know, go for it, I guess. Like, I think that's a little intense and maybe you're being too hard on yourself, but, you know, you do you. But if you're Jared Leto mailing dead squirrels or whatever the fuck to Margot Robbie to play a much shittier Joker, you're just a freak. You suck. You suck. Okay, I have OCCT, I have it open, and I'm gonna keep an eye on the temperature while I open Blender and throughout the stream. Yeah, I'd rather live in a van down by the river. Fair enough. All that van life stuff has always been so crazy to me. Maybe it's because I can't drive. Like, don't get me wrong, it looks fun, but I can't imagine doing it every day. I'm just a homebody, I guess. Buy and live out of a hearse? Hell yeah, man. You know, a hearse could be cool. I love to browse Facebook Marketplace for weird shit. I set my radius really wide and I just look for weird shit, you know? You'd be surprised how often people sell mechanical bulls on there. But one time someone was selling a pink Cadillac hearse on Facebook Marketplace. A pink Cadillac hearse. It was like $50,000, but like, oh! I cannot drive, I do not need a car, and I do not have $50,000. But if I could and did, kind of a great deal, you know? Alternatively, a whole ass school bus. You know, I actually worked with a guy who did that one time. He had the craziest life story I'd ever heard. He and his wife and 3 kids lived in a school bus. They lived in a converted school bus with solar panels and shit. He was a chef at the restaurant I worked at for a while. And, people called him the Johnny Appleseed of cannabis. I guess he made a bunch of money off of, like, a company making edibles or something, and then, like, his business partner screwed him over or something, and his wife was like, You know, what if we just mix it up and we go live in a school bus for a while? And so they did. It was a weird dude. He was awesome. One time he gave me a 2-pound bag of homemade edibles. Made from plants and strawberries, both of which he had grown organically himself. It was a steal, man. It was great. $1 and a stale Cheeto Puff I found in my couch, final offer. Yeah, I feel like you could probably get a Cadillac for that. All right, we are in the trenches of hair. I've done most of this, all of this. I've done all of this off stream. But this is where we are right now. And then I know we're gonna go through so much tweaking on this hair. So I'm trying not to be too hard on myself right now and just block it. You know, just block it out. Rough shapes and then go from there. But this is where we are right now. From the front, oh, sorry, hold on. From the front, she kind of looks like she has like a cool tomboy wolf cut. But from any other angle, she doesn't. bit of a rough haircut from any other angle. But and then if we align to front, I figured out how to get the the reference photo thing working. Wow, excuse me. And hopefully, you know, you agree that this is something. Here, let me where is it? Ah, here we go. Let me you see it? You see the vision? We're getting there. This is really fun. We're getting there. She is so fluffy. She's so fluffy. Are her pupils different sizes in this reference image? I think they might be. I'll probably go off based off of this side, but that's kind of funny. Okay. But yeah, that's where we're sitting right now. Oop, pupils blown, get her to a hospital. I'm sure she's fine. Okay, and then the back of her hair, I'm kind of not totally sure about how to go about it, right? So like, the front of the hair, I did the same way I'm used to doing hair with the curves, because I've only really done short hair for me and tentacles for Cindy, which was, you know, scooch over here a little bit. Which was all, you know, like pretty short strands. Nothing super crazy as far as that goes. But for this like really long, hair, I've never done that before. So I'm thinking I might poly model? Also, look at this nose. Look at this nose. I was I was going to leave it as just a slightly rounder version of the anime nose I normally do. You know, you can see the pointy one, the sort of bird-like anime nose. But I was like, you know what? It's because I was procrastinating the hair. I was procrastinating the hair, and I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll try adding like the nostrils and the more realistic nose shape to the actual topology instead of just texturing it on later. Because I was stalling and I was scared of doing the hair. And I'm so glad I did because it looks so nice. It was not as difficult as I thought it would be, and there's almost certainly better ways to go about it than I did. This is probably a really, really horrifying topology to anybody who knows what they're doing. But it works. It works. Hi, Gooby. Hi, Gooby girl. My daughter has come to visit. She was sleeping in the clean laundry when I got home, but I guess she has finally decided to come say hi. Yeah, she's got big green eyes. Hi, baby girl. Hi, baby. Have you finished your laundry nap? Have you finished uncleaning the clean laundry? I don't know why I even bother. None of my clothes are ever gonna be free of cat hair. Everything I own is covered in a light dusting of gray cat hair. Do you also hold your cats like the small little babies they are? Yes, those are my children. They're my biological children. They are my darling babies. And also, I wish they would stop eating toilet paper. And trying to get in the bath. You birthed them? Proof? No. Hi, baby girl. Hi, baby. That's my daughter right there. That is my daughter. I love her so much. And Yam. I'm just talking about Ube because she's the one who's here right now begging for scritches. But I love Yam so much. Oh, that was a big flop, baby. That was a big flop. Also, Yam bites sometimes, which is not my favorite. Okay, I know we're less than an hour into stream, but I do have to use the bathroom, so we're gonna BRB. We're gonna BRB. See you in just a moment. Hello, I'm so sorry for the delay. I had a slight interruption, but we're back. We're back. We are back. Let me check my computer stats. Yep, we're looking good. Okay, not too hot yet. All good. Okay. Back to hair. And don't judge this, okay? Don't judge the count on this, okay? It's because they're curves. They're curves. They're not actually. It's not actually gonna have that many faces, okay? It's fine. It's fine. Okay. So I'm not totally sure how to go about doing the back. So I was thinking maybe I'd try polymodeling it. This is probably something that I will do several times. This is probably a big trial and error task for me. And that's okay. You know, I've never done hair like this before. And then she does have a reference sheet in a slightly different style that has a back view. So I'm gonna pull that up. I believe it's pinned on her Twitter. Okay, there we go. Yeah. Okay. It's about what I expected. Voluminous, fluffy, loosely curled. All those terrifying things. You got it. You got it. Well, no time like the present. Okay, let's just, I know what we'll do. We'll extrude. What if we did all of them, actually? What if I just selected all of these? And then we hit extrude individual faces. What if we did that? And we shrunk them down a little bit so I could see them. You know, I've had worse ideas. I've had worse ideas. It is a possibly doable starting point. Okay. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna add a subdiv. Oh, beautiful. Perfect. Should we well, what's that second one? Wow, I think it's photorealistic, chat. It looks great. Hi, Goob. I hung up some cat shelves for them. Because they have a cat tower, but it's only, you know, it's only like 5 feet tall. And it's a small apartment, and I want them to have, you know, enrichment, room to hang out and stuff. So I got them the big, or like the cat shelves that you install on the walls. And I put those even higher up above their cat tower. And Ube loves them. She loves them. I'm so happy. Because while I was, you know, putting them in, driving screws into the wall and shit, I was like, this is kind of a lot of effort. I really hope they actually like this. And they do! Thank goodness. How many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, sure. I printed a little track to put a ball in for my cat. She would rather play with a piece of cardboard. Yeah. Cindy, hello! I love you, Nesty. Love you, Nesty. We have one of those little ball track things, and they do like it. 5, 6. They do like it quite a bit. Which I'm happy for. They actually have 2. They have one that they've had this here, you can hear them. They've had this one since they were literally the day we got them. It's got like a little bowl shape on the top, and it's got some like bristles around it. Yam likes to chew on the bristles. We call it brushing his teeth. And when they were, you know, the size of a potato, and they fit in the palm of your hand, they used to sit in the little bowl shape on top, and we called it their spaceship. But they are now much, much, much too big. So they just play with the ball and the track on the outside. And of course, Yam brushes his teeth with it. But they also have one of the like 3-tiered ball and track things, and they do enjoy that as well. And Yam has about 5 bajillion springs. He loves the springs so much. The springs are his favorite thing in the world. And he must have access to several of them at any given moment, or he will start destroying shit in protest until we clean them out from under the couch. He'll just start knocking shit over. Hey Mom, I can't help but notice that you haven't replenished my spring stash. And that's kinda not gonna fly. So I am going to destroy everything in the house until that gets amended, actually. It's like, okay, you little shit. Mother, procure me my spring! Exactly. And like, he has 1,000,000 of them, but somehow he always loses them. And so we had to keep buying more. I think we are at a number now where he can't possibly lose all of them, because we'll find a few of them stuck under some piece of furniture or in some weird corner every so often. And I think we've reached the point where they cannot all be properly lost. But for a while we had to keep ordering them. Like we have more than 50 springs. Easily. They're everywhere. He'll carry them into our bed when he takes a nap in the bed. And this is a fun one, he will put them in people's shoes. When people come over to my house, I have to say, you might want to check your shoes before you leave. Yeah, I might put springs in them. every so often, Sierra or I will be getting ready to go somewhere. She'll be getting ready for work in the morning. She'll put her shoe on. She'll take it off. She'll turn it upside down. A little bright yellow plastic spring will fall out. He's so silly. Better than waking up to them bringing mice to you in your sleep. Yeah, we don't have any issues with that. I don't think they know what a mouse is. I don't think they've ever seen a mouse. She was also an outside cat, so she likes to hunt too. She has caught a few mice. I had an indoor-outdoor cat when I was a kid, and he would definitely bring lizards and mice. The occasional bird. Yeah. That was a very different cat. He was cool. He was a chill guy. I didn't love the dead lizards, though. That was not my favorite. Took her out in the snow the other day, and she was just like, fuck this, it's cold. Yeah, I don't even know how the babies would react. I can't even imagine how they would respond to snow. I don't think they know that that's a thing that can happen. Okay, well, that's not right. I'm beginning to second guess this technique. I'm beginning to think that maybe this is stupid. Yeah, I don't know about this one. Let's try this again. She claimed me when she was still an outside cat. I was sitting on the porch and she literally curled up and took a nap in my lap. Aww. Cat distribution system. We also got ours through the cat distribution system, but a bit more indirectly because they were babies. We found them at the park. Well, more accurately, a stray cat in my girlfriend's family's neighborhood had kittens, and the family that was taking care of them brought the kittens out to the park to get some sun. And my girlfriend's family also went to the park to get some sun. And they were like, "Oh my god, someone's got like a whole litter of kittens out here." And they were like, "Do you guys want one?" And Sierra goes, "Can you give us a week?" So we got them for free from the park. My favorite breed of cat. Free. Okay, let's see. Let's rethink this, shall we? I feel like I was kind of onto something with the extruding of the faces, but maybe I need to go a bit more methodical about it, you know? A bit more intentional. You know, that's a little bit better. Now she's just fat. They always get fat somehow. Were they in a van with free kittens on the side? No, they were on a picnic blanket. Just getting some sun. Because the family that was taking care of the stray cats was like, I don't know, I guess we should probably take them to get some fresh air or something? And then they found Sierra, also at the park. And the rest is history, because Sierra cannot say no to a cat. And we had just recently lost my childhood cat who had been living with us. Which was really hard on me. And I really missed having a cat. So we had been talking about getting another one. And then there they were at the park. My beautiful, beautiful children. Who lived to make my life harder. Whom I love so much. Manic Modeling Monday? I'm trying to be chill. This hair, though, I don't even know how to go about it. So we're just messing around. We're experimenting. We're throwing spaghetti at the wall. Cat owners talking about how they got their cats is fun. Dog owners are like, yeah, we waited forever, while cat owners are just like, I found him in a dumpster behind the gas station. Real. You're sounding a lot better? Yes, I'm feeling a lot better. I did end up having to leave work on Friday. Friday? Saturday. I did end up having to leave work on Saturday because I was in worse shape than I thought I was. It was pretty bad. And then I was also very, very sick on Sunday. And I had to call out, which was so embarrassing having to call out like my second and third days at this job. Oh my god, I was so embarrassed. But they were very understanding, and I went in today and it was great. It was great. I loved it. So that's good, at least. How's work? It was great! Really cool team. I like them quite a bit. And I've got my shift meal right here. I got a little breakfast plate. It was nice. I feel like we should probably separate this one. I feel like this can be two. There. Good as new. Good as new. Okay. But probably helps that you showed up Friday despite being sick. While you never look... Yeah, it never looks good calling out of work your first week, but at least you made the effort. Yeah. I went in Friday, and Friday was good. Saturday, I tried. Oh, I tried. But after like an hour and a half, I was like, I feel like maybe I shouldn't be handling other people's food. Like, I just keep feeling worse and worse. And I didn't want to get anybody on the staff, or God forbid, a customer sick, so... I gave in. I hated it, but I did. It was the right thing to do. Ugh. Why are you so fucked up? No. Okay, that's not why. Maybe it'll help if I do this. It does help a little bit. Yeah, I was... Oh god, it sucked so bad. But I went in today, and today was good. So hopefully that's water under the bridge. Hopefully we're good. Do I want to do this with curves? Maybe I want to do this with curves. Because I don't know about this. I don't know about this. You know, like, this is rough. So we might do this with curves. We'll just hide it for now. You know, we can come back to it later if we decide that that method is gonna work better. But, I think maybe... Smooth curve tilt. Smooth. Smooth, 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 smooth. Smooth, smooth. Smooth curve radius? What? Okay. What? No. No, 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 no. Clear tilt. Sure. Sure. We just need a place to start right now, you know? We'll start at the very beginning, a very good place to start. When you sing, you begin with do, re, mi, do, re, mi, do, re, mi. Oh, this looks so bad. Ah! Okay. You know, I don't think I want it to be round. That's better, I think. Yeah. I did not mean to have it on round. He's got really long hair. Ugh, I am so out of my depth here right now, but that's fine. We're just gonna keep digging, you know? Eventually, this will be within my depth. Just gotta keep practicing. You know, it might be good to look at some other models for reference. Ooh, you know who has really good 3D models that you can see in motion a lot? Silvervale. Silvervale does those MMD videos. And she's always had really beautiful models. And so you can see the way the hair moves from a bunch of angles when she does the MMD videos. That might be a good thing for me to reference. Because right now, looking rough. It's looking rough. I do not know about this. You know what? We're gonna keep trying. We're gonna keep trying. I think all of Mouse's models for her concert did have the pigtails, so I don't think I can get a good reference from those, but she also has a bunch of really beautiful models, and for the concert she had the dancing. So if I ever need a twin tail reference, especially for like rigging, that'll be a good one. Did you ever hear about the RuneScape mod who destabilized the Venezuelan economy? The what? I can't say I did. I can't say that one ever made its way to me. Let's try making these, let's try giving them some wave. Why not? Fix the tilt. Yeah, it looks bad. He decided he would hack into a ton of accounts ran by people in Venezuela who sell in-game currency for real-world money. He stole all of this in-game money and sold it for Bitcoin. But apparently a lot of people in Venezuela make a ton of money reselling in-game currency, that when he hacked those accounts, it destroyed their economy. He was found guilty in court of theft and charged $700,000. God damn! God damn! That's crazy. I never played RuneScape. I don't know much about it. I know it was very popular, and I'm sure it still is. Because I've definitely heard people talk about it, but I have not played it. Everything I've tried so far looks bad. Everything I've tried so far looks bad. His excuse was that he was going to be banning those accounts anyway because botting and selling in-game currency isn't allowed. But, you know, he ended up selling the in-game currency himself, so... Yeah, that excuse doesn't really work when you do the thing, you know? Okay, hold on. I'm gonna see if I can find some videos and get an idea of what I might be looking for here. Oh wait, I have to mute it. Okay, this one has twin tails. Very cute, but not what I'm looking for. Sorry, I'm trying to find... I'm just not really sure how to go about this hair. 3D hair tutorial. Why not? We'll try that. Huh. You know what they say about this beautiful, you don't need hair on that model, make them bald. You know, I do think that might inhibit the growth of my skill, you know? That might not be great for the progress I'm trying to work towards. Okay, this guy is doing it the way I first started doing it, roughly. Maybe make them more uniform with the front pieces? Yeah, it's just rough blocking right now, but so I'm just trying to get a rough idea. I'm gonna redo this several times if I know myself. But here, we can see the... Also, hello, Alora May, welcome in. We can see the reference. I'm just gonna delete this. This one? Yeah. You're gone. Yeah. I'll probably be following along with the video a bit more closely than I was originally intending. 'Cause this is stumping me. It looks like I was closer to the right answer with this technique, but still not quite. Let me just check my computer. Yep, it's looking good today. Huh. Alright. Yeah, I have never done hair this complex before. So this is just a lot of trial and error for me. We're working on the block out right now, mostly. Okay, let's see. The back hair here. He starts with a cube. He subdivides the cube 3 times. Okay. Add. Cube. Much too big. Okay. We're just gonna hide everything else. We're just gonna focus on this. We're gonna focus on this. Okay. And I don't need any of those bottom pieces. Don't need any of those side pieces. There. Okay. Hmm? And we also don't need this front half. There. Okay. Now we're gonna split it into the strands. Okie dokie. Extrude faces along normals. Okay. How do I do the search thing? Hold on. There we go. It's right there. Boom. Actually. I didn't need to really move it that much. There we go. Okay, and then we're gonna separate. Okay. Hold on. Forgot to do this. Dokie. Okay, then it looks like we're just gonna do one. Okay, looks like we're gonna delete the rest of these. Alright. I'm just trusting the process here. It looks like I was close with my strategy, but just not quite there. And I'm gonna widen it a bit in the middle. Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Think I get it. Oh, wait. Looks like we forgot something. Okay. And it looks like we're gonna... just add a shit ton of loop cuts. Is what we appear to be doing here. And why not? Why not just add a shit ton of loop cuts? Who's gonna stop me? And then it looks like he does a... How does he do this search? Hold on. I always forget how to do this search function. F3 spacebar. Okay, F3 spacebar. Cursor to selected. Oh, I guess it's just F3? Spacebar F3? Nope. It looks like, for me at least, it's just F3. And we're looking for cursor to selected. Did it work? Oh, I think I didn't select anything. Okay, hold on. But no. Hey, there we go. Now we're gonna apply everything just in case. This might need to be an object mode. Origin to 3D cursor. Perfect! Yay! Okay. And then we're gonna add a deform, it looks like. Yesterday I learned in D&D that you can summon cows. I immediately had to do something completely broken and create a character that just summons cows to defeat his enemy, and it turns out if you deal 1d10 for every 10 feet that the cow falls onto a person, you can summon multiple cows in the same action. Yeah, I saw that. I saw that, that short. It was good. People get very creative. I tried submitting this character and the DM said no and that he was sick of my shit. That's also fair, you know? What the DM's word goes, if that's not the type of game they're trying to play, you know, that's not the type of game they're trying to play. Everyone's got a different play style. And it can definitely be annoying when you're the DM and you have a specific type of game that you're trying to run and people just will not cooperate. And it's like, you know, sometimes people just don't play well together, but you know, the DM's always doing a really nice thing by running a game. They're putting in a lot of work. It's good to do a session 0 in my opinion, where you all kind of just get the vibe on what you're doing. What the general vibe is, what the genre is, what everyone's comfortable with, what everyone looks forward to doing, what the party composition looks like. I'm a big session 0 supporter. I always like doing funny, silly, sometimes broken and chaotic stuff, but like every single DM I talk to is like, I only do serious games, no fun allowed, you can't mess around. I'm like, come on, how is that fun for anyone? That's how I like to play too, actually. You know, I'm there to tell a like collaborative story, typically. I like the tension and I like the drama and I like the character-driven storylines. And if I come up with a character with like a 3-page backstory, you know, and I've got all this character and I'm excited for the arcs, and then everybody else is just like murder hobos, or everybody else is on the same page as me, but then one person's like, you know, I'm a slice of bread that mage hands itself everywhere. Then I'm like, okay, I feel like maybe you didn't get the memo, you know? If everyone in the group wants to be silly, everyone wants to be silly, but the DM gets to set the tone, you know? Because, like, if I'm DMing, I'm sure as hell not running a game that I don't want to run, you know? That I'm not enjoying. I'm not doing that. And I also just wouldn't want to run a game with people who aren't willing to follow directions, you know? Like, I ran this one shot one time where one guy showed up with a super weird homebrew character. He showed up with a homebrew character that he did not run by me. And it was like a homebrew race and class that I had never heard of before, that he did not send me in advance or check with me about. And I was like, dude, what the hell? What the hell is this? It was my first time DMing too. And he shows up with homebrew that he had not run by me. And I was like, I don't even know how to do this. I just wanted to destabilize the economy by buying up all the iron ore, transforming them into full plate armor, and reselling it all for like a 5,000% profit. Yeah, and I'm sure there's tons of DMs and tons of players who love to play that way. But it's just not fun for anybody if you get a group that's trying to play a different play style and you try and force it, you know? I do follow directions. I just sometimes like to find creative solutions to problems, and not many DMs like creative solutions because they always plan for a specific thing. That's not necessarily true. Sometimes the creative solution just doesn't really work. Sometimes it's just not really practical. It just sort of doesn't work with the flow of the game. You know, the DM's word goes. And, I think it's pretty reasonable for them to sometimes say, no, that's stretching it a bit too far. Why would you put your villain at the top of a tall tower if you didn't want my guy to just sprint out towards him, grapple him, taking him down, and slamming him to the ground, defeating the final boss of the story in one action? I would say that pushing someone off a tower is not... I would say that that's probably... If they're not letting you do that, I would consider that railroading. But like... No, I don't think I'm gonna let you... I don't think I'm gonna let you, enter the campaign with a character whose whole gimmick is dropping cows on people. I feel like that's fair, you know? Villain uses dodge, Nox falls, time for new character sheet. Yeah, if the final boss, if your BBEG can't dodge, that's kind of on you. That wasn't the entire gimmick because that's only like one spell slot, but yeah. Yeah, I personally don't enjoy playing with rules lawyers. I don't enjoy it. That is not how I like to play, and it drives me up the wall. Like, if I wanted to spend 4 hours eating potato chips while people argue about random numbers, I'd join my dad's fantasy football league. I'd take up Warhammer. Like, no, I'm here to be I'm here to be a character and then do a fun, you know, group improvisational storytelling exercise. I don't want to argue about how your multi-class should let you do 6 more damage because of this, and this, and technically the exact wording in the player's handbook and in this, well, and you know, in Xanathar's Guide to Everything, they introduced this, and if you combine it with this from the monster manual, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Ouch, shots fired. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? That reminds me, there's a game I can't remember the name of, but it's like D&D, but it takes like an hour to do a single turn because there's so much math and complicated stuff you have to do and like 12 different rolls to do a single action. Shadowrun. That's almost definitely Shadowrun. I have a friend who's really into it, and she tried getting us into it one time, and it took 6 hours to make a character sheet with a tool to help streamline it. And none of us knew what the fuck we were doing. And it was so confusing. But we gave it the good college try because she loved it. No, I mean about going to your dad's fantasy football thing. I know, am I wrong? Knew it without even thinking. Bam, Shadowrun. It's Shadowrun. You know, like, I admire how thorough they were in their creation of the game. I admire their commitment to detail. It also makes very little sense to me. And I know I'm not their target audience. Anyone tried Daggerheart yet? I've heard really good things, but I've not tried it. Sierra bought the book, so hopefully we'll try it at some point. But we just don't have enough people around right now to play. Shadowrun rules, though. In theory. It rules in theory. But personally, I cannot play it. But I just want to make it very clear I think it's awesome. I'm not smart enough to play Shadowrun, is what it comes down to. D&D requires friends? Yeah, we don't have enough friends to play D&D. Not enough local friends. I always find it funny how a lot of people are like, I can never get into Magic the Gathering, it's way too complicated, yet they play Yu-Gi-Oh!, which is 1,000 times more complicated and difficult. Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is like... I've never played Yu-Gi-Oh!, but, I used to play Magic with people who used to play, like, pretty competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! And they were like, no, yeah, Magic is so much chiller. In Yu-Gi-Oh! If you're not winning turn 1 regularly, then your deck is chopped, basically. I was like, oh! Yeah, that's not for me. The same friend who tried to get us into Shadowrun is also into Warhammer, and she's currently teaching Sierra Warhammer, and I might try and learn too, so that we can go to the game store to play Warhammer with people, and we can wingman for her. That's the goal. She teaches me to play Warhammer so that I can paint little dolls and be her wingman at the game store. That's the goal. And don't tell me they're not dolls, because they are. They basically are. I mean, I guess you could argue that since they don't have any articulation, yeah, I guess they're just figurines, but... They're action figures! More often than not in Yu-Gi-Oh! You want to go second because you can't attack your first turn, so if you go first, all you can do is set up negates. Huh. Yeah, I don't know anything about Yu-Gi-Oh! Besides, it's a lot. Yeah, I think that looks good enough for now. I'm glad I bit the bullet and looked up a tutorial. What really sucks is because there's so many actions you take in Yu-Gi-Oh! That easily a third of every single deck is just something to counter someone else's ability. Not kidding when I say that I've played games where my opponent's entire board is just this creature makes it so you can't do that but 5 times. Ah, I see. So everyone in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a blue player. It's just all blue players. What if I went and played a game where everyone's deck is Azorius? Wouldn't that be fun? Wouldn't that be just such a blast? No. What are you, a cop? That is very accurate. I was gonna say that as well, yes. If your favorite color combo is Azorius, you're a cop. I don't trust you. I believe that you're an undercover cop in this game store. That's what you go for? Really? You're not doing creatures? You're not doing mill? No graveyard? No sack? No aggro? You're just making rules? You're boring. I bet you play a male human paladin in D&D. Every single person is a blue player and all blue cards have 0 cost, essentially. Ooh, exciting. Again, ouch. Am I wrong? I kicked ass as a human paladin. It's not like an all the time rule, but like generally those people can be kind of boring, you know? That's kind of a default character. I was assuming everyone wants a healer. That's fair. But it's so much more fun to play a cleric or a druid, in my opinion. My first character was a druid. I was a tiefling druid named Bliss, and that was my very first character ever. I just picked shit that I thought sounded cool. Because isn't that what D&D is about? Isn't that what it's all about? I spent all my starting gold on a pseudo dragon because I wanted a little dragon friend. I've done druid and yeah, that was cool, but holy smoke, smite deals so much damage. That's fair. That is fair. I've never played a paladin. I will admit I've never played a paladin. I do have some ideas. There are some fun, like, gimmick paladin ideas. Because technically, you don't have to be committed to a god. You just have to be committed to a vow. You know? And I thought, like, for like I think that gimmick characters work better for a one-shot, personally. I think it would be really funny to have a paladin whose vow is just to veganism. They draw all their power from being a really, like... from being, like, a really strict vegan. And they're one of those people who talks about it all the time. I think that would be funny. That would be a good one-shot character, in my opinion. Ciro once pitched the idea of a paladin whose vow is commitment to the bit. Where your entire character premise is you have to do whatever the funniest thing is. Because that, you're married to the bit. That's your vow. That's what you derive power from, is how committed to the bit you are. Why does this look bad? It looked way better when that guy did it. We've been rewatching She-Ra. And now that I'm sculpting hair, I just keep thinking about Entrapta and how fucking cool that character is. Shout out Entrapta. Love her. I set up this really funny artifact deck when the Final Fantasy packs dropped, and essentially what it did is it made it so my opponent couldn't play cards except cards that are banished, but not monsters. And then I would play down a card that made my opponent draw 2 cards and just wait. I had tons of forfeits until some of the cards I used were banned. Yeah, that makes sense. Like, you know, there's always house rules. If you're not playing in a tournament, house rules, but, you know, if you show up to casual Magic night at my house and you're doing that, I'm saying house rule, don't fucking do that. You know? House rule. Stop it. Oh, right, the Super Bowl was yesterday, huh? That was yesterday, wasn't it? Was it good? I heard the Seahawks won, is that true? I'm sorry, I know this is a really big deal to a lot of people. I do not have cable TV and no longer live with my dad. I didn't know it was Super Bowl Sunday this week until someone at work was like, oh, gonna be a busy weekend, and I was like, why? And I didn't even know who was playing. I had to look it up. I heard Bad Bunny was good, though. I might check that out on YouTube. It affected me, too. I couldn't play any cards that weren't paid with, like a flashback cost kind of thing, either. I specifically also put in cards with the effects of playing them was a way to summon, like, tokens just to do ship damage to their life points as well. Fair enough. You know, if that's what the group you play with enjoys. Bad Bunny was so good they played the whole halftime show at Mar-a-Lago. Yeah, I heard it was good. I know Gaga was there. Always love to see Gaga. I don't know any of Bad Bunny's music, but I've heard only the best things. It's not something I've gotten around to listening to. But I have heard great things about Bad Bunny just generally. Seems like a cool dude. I would never play that kind of deck in real life. It's not fun. Setting up a deck that makes it so your opponent can't play the game. No one's having fun. But it's just like a couple online duels just to see if the deck works. No harm in that. Oh yeah, online duels, do whatever you want. I listened to a bit of it. It was okay, but I am old. That is fair. His patriotism was unmatched. Hell yeah. He seems like a cool guy. I know when I got the go live notification for Iron Mouse yesterday, the stream title was just Puerto Rico, Puerto Rico, Puerto Rico, Puerto Rico. And I support that. I watched it. Mouse lost her mind when Bad Bunny sang. Hell yeah. Anything that makes Mouse happy, I'm usually on board with. Like, yeah, fuck it. I don't personally know his music, but if my Oshi is stoked, I'm stoked. Okay. Hmm. Hmm. Hold on. Reminded me of this card I got specifically to beat my brother's silver deck. Essentially what it does is when you play this card, all creatures other than this one on the field become 0/1 sheep cards and lose all their abilities. Anytime I got that out, my brother would just forfeit. Oh, excuse me. I love a gimmick deck. Like, I love one where it's like, hi, I'm here for Magic Night. I'm gonna beat you to death with 1,000 1/1 squirrels. That's always fun to me. Hold on, I'm gonna turn the lights on. The sun's going down. There we go. Much better. Much better. Much better. I used to play with a guy who had an egg deck, where the entire thing was that he would make egg tokens. And he would just make so many fucking egg tokens. That was fun. Same guy who made the Rip Shuffle deck, actually. He made a competitive deck. Like competitive CEDH. Good deck. Out of some of the worst quality cards he could find. Just really beat to shit cards. In no sleeves. And the strategy was that he would show up to tournaments, take his deck out and just rip shuffle it like a pack of playing cards as an intimidation tactic. I don't know if he ever did, but I know that was his plan while he was building it. And I thought that was the funniest shit ever. Like, imagine showing up to a Magic tournament, and this guy sits down across from you, looks you in the eyes, cuts his deck in half, and whoosh. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. There's no sleeves on it. I'd be scared. I'd be like, oh shit. This guy didn't come here to fuck around. This guy's serious. I'd be shaking in my boots. Okay, I feel like we're finally getting somewhere here.